everybody. My name is Jana, and this is the first episode of my knitting podcast, the Poppies Purls Fiber Company knitting podcast. I'm not a fiber company. I just liked the way it sounded, but I am a knitter, and I have been thinking about doing this podcast and planning this podcast for a few years now, and I'm nervous and excited, and I figured it's time. If you plan something so much and put effort into something, you should see it through. And I am a see it through kind of gal. It just may take me a little bit of time because I'm also a perfectionist. And perfection is the enemy of planning, I think. I got a text this morning from my boyfriend letting me know that I shouldn't let procrastination be the enemy of good enough. And so my goal for this podcast episode is for it to be good enough and to be satisfied with that. So I have my notes, and I may occasionally get lost or trip over my words, but we'll get through this together, and at the end of it, I'll have something I can be proud of, hopefully, and maybe continue on for further episodes, because that's the goal here. The goal is to continue this podcast and make new friends through this podcast, and get to know new people and learn new things, have a community. I think that's a lot of why people do this podcast for knitting, and just get on here and talk for an hour at a time. I love to knit. I love to knit a lot. I'm a little bit obsessed, as are many of us. It helps with my anxiety. It calms me. It brings me joy. I love making knitting friends. I love learning about fiber and knitting techniques and the history of knitting. I enjoy shopping for yarn and knitting notions and anything having to do with knitting. My name is Jana. I said that already, I think, but I live in Houston, Texas. I have two cats, one named Nyx and one named Luna. They're adventurous and active and sometimes a little annoying, but I love them. I also have a teenage son named Jeremy, who is 16. He is also a little active and annoying at times, but I love him. I have a boyfriend named Josh. My day job is in payroll. I am a payroll manager, so money and numbers and compliance go well with my perfectionist tendencies. I have my notes here, and I'm gonna do my best to follow them and not have some crazy incoherent rambling mess of an hour, hopefully an hour. I planned what I thought would be enough for an hour, so we'll see what happens, right? Maybe I'll talk so fast because I'm so nervous that I just kind of finish in half an hour, but I hope that's not the case. I can talk a lot in general. I talk a lot to my boyfriend about knitting, and I think he hopes that this will be an outlet for me to get all my talking out about knitting. That's not to say that he doesn't care about it and he's not interested. I think there's just only so long that he can actively listen without getting tired. He is supportive and wonderful, and he asks a lot of good questions about knitting, and goes with me on yarn shop adventures. So, but we'll talk about that later in the episode. I think I went over my goals for this podcast. For the past couple of years, I watch a lot of knitting podcasts, and I enjoy it while I'm knitting, and I enjoy just hearing people talk about what they're working on and what they've found, patterns they've found, and getting inspiration through that. And I've always just kind of thought, hey, like, I get so much joy out of this, and I feel like I have something to say. So why not, right? So goals are to get through this first episode well and complete it, and then hopefully feel good about it on the other side, and continue and build some relationships in the knitting community and friendships, and just connect with people this way, the way I feel connected to other knitting podcasters. I thought we'd start with, if I look over too much, it's because I can see myself, and looking at the camera and looking at myself, it's a little distracting. But I think everyone can give me a little bit of grace this first time around, since I'm new to it and I'm nervous, and I just want to make sure that everything is perfect, of course. I thought we'd start with tea time, because along with knitting, I really enjoy tea. I enjoy coffee as well. I drink a lot of coffee. Morning time is for coffee. Daytime, well, coffee's for any time, really. Except for right before bedtime. Caffeine free. Decaf is for right before bed. But I do love tea, and I love herbal tea. I drink it in the evenings. I'm drinking some right now in my cat person mug. It's super cute. Hot. But so good. So I found online this tea company called Magic Hour, and this is what I've got in my cup right now. It's called Ruby Moon Herbal Tea. It's caffeine free, which is amazing, and it tastes amazing. This particular blend, the ingredients are organic hibiscus, organic blackcurrant, organic rose hips, organic cranberry fruit, organic elderberry fruit, and other natural flavors. It's delicious. I really love it. And I love caffeine-free tea, because then I can drink it whenever I want and not worry about being up all night, because the older I get, the harder it is to sleep after drinking caffeine. And when you're younger, you don't worry about that so much, and there are times when I'm like, it doesn't affect me. I'm fine. I can drink caffeine and coffee and caffeinated tea at 10 o'clock at night and have no problem. But that is a lie I tell myself so that I can remain youthful forever, or feel like I am youthful forever. I just turned 40, and it was like a switch got flipped, and all the things that you don't worry about as like 20s and 30s start to happen and become reality. But at any rate, caffeine free, this Ruby Moon is great. I also joined a mailing subscription for them, because I have tasted a few other teas from them, from Magic Hour, and so they came out with these new teas that are related to tarot, and each tea, it's a new tea every month. Each tea is inspired by a different tarot card, and the most recent subscription box I got was for the High Priestess tarot card, And this one is the High Priestess, and it says Tea of Light and Insight. It comes in these cute little, I mean, you can get different levels. I got the sampler packages, which is what this size is. It is, I believe, 7.75 ounces. And you get, I mean, I don't know how many, it says on the website about how many servings you can get with these little sampler pouches, but I figured why get the bigger sizes when I'm not sure if I'm really gonna like the flavors. So I got the little sample size. It's really cute. I don't know if you can see, the artwork is really beautiful on here. But this one has organic peppermint, organic spearmint, holly, basil, ginger, licorice root, linden flowers, ginkgo biloba, mugwort, bacopa, cardamom, and then extracts of peppermint and ginger. I haven't tasted it yet. I haven't had any of it yet. I haven't even opened it because I've been enjoying the Ruby Moon so much. And once I start something and I like it a lot, I tend to stick to it until it's gone. And so once I finish, the Ruby Moon's just about gone. I think I have another couple of cups left in my package. But in this High Priestess kit, this month's kit or box, subscription box, it comes with the tea. And then it also comes with a gift item. And the gift item I got in this one was a High Priestess ceremonial tea bath kit. And it comes with a bag, like a little bag that you fill with your tea bath mixture. And then you let it soak in your bath water. And kind of steep like tea. And then you take a lovely, lovely bath in the beautiful goodness that is this ceremonial tea bath mixture. The ingredients for this are Himalayan salt, pink Himalayan salt, coconut milk powder, chrysanthemum, chamomile, lavender, jasmine flower, calendula petals, and mugwort. I don't have a bathtub that's really great for soaking, so I haven't used it yet, but I'm excited to try it out. You know, a hot bath and a good book by candlelight would be pretty amazing these days. I think doing things for yourself to relax and de-stress are very important, which is why we knit, right? Or most of us knit to de-stress and relax and calm ourselves. I do. I also, because I started the subscription after they'd already released a couple of items, I saw this, one of the previous ones was the Lovers. It's I got this cute little glass jar with it, and this tea has hibiscus. If you can't tell, I really love hibiscus tea. I think the flavor is amazing. Hibiscus, cinnamon, damiana root, roses, shatavari root, maca root, lavender, and then extracts of cherry fruit and vanilla bean, which sounds really, really delicious. Haven't tried this one yet either. I will drink it on another future episode, hopefully, and we'll see how it tastes. But Magic Hour tea, the review is excellent, and would purchase again. I think everybody should try it at least once. If you love tea, if you don't like tea or herbal tea, because not everybody does, maybe it's not for you guys, but worth the try for sure. I guess that was about 15 minutes on intro and tea. So maybe I will have a long enough podcast, right? We'll see. Next on my trusty outline list of things to talk about are my purchases. I purchase a lot. I buy a lot of yarn. I purchase a lot of books related to knitting. I purchase a lot of notions and accessories for knitting. I start a lot of projects, and I have a bazillion whips in and around my home here, hidden around in project bags and even tote bags and little cubbies. I am not the best at finishing projects. So I need to kind of work on that ratio a little bit. I think I'd like to commit to finishing a few things. Maybe that's why I'm doing this podcast right now, because to encourage me, to give me motivation to finish projects I start. But I just love the process so much of knitting. I'm not a finished object knitter. I'm a process knitter. Like I really love the feel of casting on with a new yarn, or feeling excited about a new project, and just the feel of the needles in my hand, the motion of, knit stitches and purl stitches, and just the rhythm of it. And so it doesn't bother me too much that I don't finish projects, but I don't have anything to show for it in the end, right? And I think that's something that I wish I had more of, was something to show for the effort I do put in. So I'm working on it. We'll work on it, and maybe in future episodes, I'll have finished objects to show everybody. But for now, I buy a lot of yarn, and I have made a lot of recent purchases. I thought I'd share those with you. I was pretty excited about them. Let's start with this kit I got from the Lemonade Shop. It is the Diamante Cowl kit. It is the Lemonade Shop Classic DK, which is 100% merino. They're 100 grams, 230 yards each. I got these really beautiful colors. I love pink, I love green, I love purple, I love bright colors in general. So this really appealed to me. DK is my favorite weight. I love DK weight. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with it. I just love it, and I wish that I could just have all of the DK weight yarn forever and ever and ever. But this was really cute. It came in a kit. The pattern did not come with it. I had to buy the pattern separate, but that's okay. I got it on Ravelry. But I don't know when I'll start this project, because I'm trying to be a little bit more monogamous within reason. I won't just have one probably, but I'm also trying not to have like 15 going at one time, right? So this will just be on hold for a little while until the right time. But in the package, when I got the package in the mail, they included this cute little business card, logo card. I really love these little knit items with cute little faces, and a sticker with the same little faces. The Lemonade Shop. It's backwards here, but you get the idea. And then this cute card that said "Thank you for your order," with the cute little lemon, and then listed the Lemonade Shop social media user ID and handles, and the website. But then on the other side of the card is little instructions on how to do the Kitchener, which I find amazing because I can never remember how to Kitchener anything. I always have to look it up. And so I always have to look up how to Kitchener something and how to do a wrap and turn. Why I can't remember how to wrap and turn from project to project, when a lot of the projects I do involve like wrapping and turning. Who knows? But I never remember it, and someday I will. Someday I'm gonna come on here and report to you that I have memorized wrap and turn and successfully completed it without looking it up on Google. But we'll see. But this I'm excited about. Beautiful colors to go together, and the Diamante cowl is so, it just looks so interesting. And with these colors, that'll be exciting. My next purchase, I bought these online. It is Knitting for Olive Merino and Knitting for Olive silk, soft silk mohair in the color Dusty Dove Blue, both of them. I have never knit with Knitting for Olive, and I'd seen a lot of people knitting with Knitting for Olive. Skeins of Dreams and the Creabea, I believe. I heard about Knitting for Olive first through those knitting podcasts, which I love, by the way. Those are my two favorite. And Aro Knits and Pearls, top 3, definitely. But I was inspired to purchase a sweater's quantity of these, both of these. It's very soft. It's very, they match so well. They go together so well. And I think it's going to look really beautiful. But my goal is to knit the Foxbury pullover, with this. I haven't started it yet, again, because I'm trying to finish what I have going. But that's the plan. Maybe I choose something else, but I bought enough of both of these to finish the Foxbury pullover in my size, or in the size that I chose. So we'll see. I'm not usually a blue fan of blue, but I want to try something different. I usually end up with green or pink or purple, sometimes like a mustard yellow color. But blue has never been in my, I don't think I've knit anything that's blue ever. So this will be my first. I'm excited though. I think it's a really pretty color. We'll see how it goes. Next thing I got, I ordered that online from Knitting for Olive's website, and the shipping was rather quick, and trouble-free. So I would recommend it. We don't have any, that I know of, any local shops near me who carry Knitting for Olive right now yet. I would love for there to be a shop nearby that carries Knitting for Olive in Houston or somewhere near Houston, surrounding areas. But speaking of local yarn shops, I went to my local yarn shop a couple of weekends ago, and even though I said I wasn't going to purchase anything, that's not true. I made a plan to purchase one set of yarn, for a cardigan I wanted to knit. But of course, that wasn't meant to be, because I left there with yarn for 2 projects. The first one I got was this beautiful mustard yellow color. It's Ulysses. It's French and Portuguese wool, made in France. And I believe it's De Rerum Natura is the brand. I could be wrong. Correct me, please. Please correct me if I say anything incorrect or inaccurate in this episode. I would appreciate that from everybody. But it's very nice feeling. I purchased it intending to use it for the Creabea's Lauder cardigan. I am excited to knit that cardigan. I've not really been much of a cables kind of gal. I like meditative, relaxing, mindless knitting sometimes. I mean, it can be like a pattern repeat, but as long as the pattern repeat is something that like is not too intense and that I can kind of memorize after a few repeats, I'm okay with that. But cabling it requires some thought. At least for me, because I've not done it very much. But I love cardigans. I love knitting cardigans. And I think Rebecca's patterns are just to die for. I love her style. I love what she's come up with. I love how she constructs things. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's different. The construction is a little different from like knitwear that I've knit before, and I like it. It feels good to make, and I enjoy the finished product. So the Lauder cardigan is for this. This was it's 100% wool, and it's 50 grams. Each ball is 50 grams, and 185 meters. I don't know what that is in yards. Forgive me. And the color is Dory, Dore. I enjoy getting yarns that I've never tried before. I get really excited when I find a new yarn or discover a new yarn, and this was something in my local yarn shop. Local yarn shop is about 30 minutes north of me, and it's called the Modern Skein. And for Houston, it is as local as it gets, probably. There's a few a little closer to me, further east, but I prefer the Modern Skein a little bit, and enjoy the people there very much. So when I saw that she had started carrying some new items, I got kind of excited. So I got that one. And then I also purchased this brand. Again, it's backwards. It's called Mota by Wool Dreamers. I will say that this one, I believe, is DK weight. It's a DK weight yarn. This one is worsted. It is a Spanish yarn, Spain, I believe, and it's 100% wool. The color is a number. It's 022G. Oh, forgive my broken nail. My nails are all overgrown, but I'm gonna go get them done this week. I love the packaging for this. I love the windmills. I love how simple it is. It's really pretty. I also enjoyed the simplicity of the packaging for this one as well. And I love when they come in these little ball skeins. I don't know what you call these. Are these cakes? What is this called? I need to look it up or have somebody tell me what it's called. But I love it because you just take the wrapper off and then you have your little end here and it just comes off the ball so easily. No winding, no tangled mess, no finding your like searching the center pull from a skein. And it's just so beautiful. This feels very rustic. So I'm not completely sure how it will feel after being knit up and washed and blocked. But we'll see. I still like the feel of it. It's not the most rustic I've ever felt it, just a little bit. But it smells great, and all the colors were these really beautiful, rich, saturated colors. They were gorgeous. This one was my favorite of all the ones available at the shop. They had some really gorgeous blues and greens. A green was my first go-to. I almost got green, but they didn't have enough balls of it for the size I wanted to do. I'm knitting currently. One of my whips is this yarn, and I'll show it to you in a little bit. But I'm enjoying it. I'm using it with my Luca needles, my wood interchangeable needles. I tend to use the wooden needles for larger weight, heavier weight yarns like DK, worsted, bulky, and I use metal needles for anything smaller than DK, like sport and fingering and lace. I don't know how that came about. I think I just prefer how it feels to knit with them that way, and that's generally how I decide which one to knit with. But at any rate, those were purchases I made at the local yarn shop the other weekend. I need to go back because the owner of the Modern Skein, her husband, has a yarn dyeing business. He dyes a yarn brand called Red Stag Fiber. Gorgeous bases and gorgeous colors. I think he is a genius and love all the colors that he comes out with, but he just came out with a new base. I can't remember for the life of me because it came out just this past weekend, I think, and is available now, but I missed the launch and the availability in the shop because I went to a funeral this weekend instead of the yarn shop. But I'm going to, maybe that's a good thing. It's not a good thing that there was a funeral, but it's a good thing I didn't go to the yarn shop, because then I didn't spend money, because I still have so many purchases that means I spent way too much money on yarn last month in March and this month too. So the next purchases, all of the purchases I have left were made in Austin. Josh, my boyfriend, and I went to Austin a few weekends ago. It was South by Southwest weekend. So we weren't sure about it, but he went up to see a friend, and his friend had him as a guest on his podcast. And so we went up just on a Saturday, stayed the night, and then came back Sunday, so that he could record that podcast with his friend. But we also got to do some fun things. And one of those things was visit some yarn shops, which was exciting. So we went to Hill Country Weavers and Gauge Yarn. Hill Country Weavers is a pretty sizable shop in Austin. I've made purchases from them before, but I've never been to the shop itself in Austin. So I jumped at the chance to do that. Of course, anywhere we go, we stop at yarn shops. I look for the yarn shops wherever we travel. But we went to Hill Country Weavers, and it's in a house converted into a retail space. So there are rooms full of many, many, many kinds of yarn. It was a little overwhelming to walk through and look. I think mostly because I didn't have a plan of action. oh, excuse me. I didn't have a plan of action, and when you don't have a plan of action, it can be not as enjoyable, I think, maybe, especially if there are as many options and things to look at as there were in the shop. But I did see a couple of items that I was intrigued by and excited about. This being one of them. There was a wall full of this brand, and it was very hard to decide. So I don't know what I'm gonna make with this, but I loved the colors. It's the Cashmerino in Azulita. It's 75% Southwest Merino, 15% cashmere, 10% nylon, 474 yards per 100 grams skein. This will probably end up being socks, to be honest. I love knitting socks out of my one skein fingering weight purchases. I mean, skeins that you buy that's just one. Good for socks, maybe good for one skein, like shawlettes maybe, or little scarves, and not much else that I know of. If you guys have a thing you like to do with one skein purchases, let me know. Impulse purchases that you just bought because they were beautiful and soft and lovely. But socks are my go-to. I like to knit socks. I always have a little sock project with me just to kind of knit on and enjoy. But so I got this at Hill Country Weavers. They also had one of my favorite yarn dyers, yarn brands is Life in the Long Grass. I love Life in the Long Grass. The colors are gorgeous. And I love the bases that they use, but I've only ever worked in Life in the Long Grass fingering weight yarn. The Modern Skein here, my shop carries Life in the Long Grass fingering, but they do not carry Life in the Long Grass DK. And as I said, I love DK. And while I was walking through Hill Country Weavers, I saw the Life in the Long Grass, display, and they had Life in the Long Grass DK. This is DK Twist, and it is 100% fine SW Merino, and this colorway is Andesol. It is you kind of can't really tell, but you kind of can. It is a very tonal, like green with a little bit of blue and brown. It's gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that very well. Yeah, I think you can. But it's just, the depth of this is gorgeous. It reminds me of Ireland. They do a really good job of kind of capturing the colors of the countryside in Ireland. I think it's beautiful, and I love Ireland in general. I'm slightly obsessed with Ireland. I've been 4 times, and every time I go on vacation or I have money to go on a lengthy, big vacation, I go to Ireland. Which, I mean, maybe there's some place else in the world that I'll love more than I love going to Ireland. I just haven't figured that out yet, because every time I go on a trip, I go to Ireland and not somewhere new. I'm trying to fix that, but the call of Ireland is just too strong sometimes. But it's okay. I digress. Beautiful. And I got this colorway to go with it. This colorway is Camel. it's also DK twist, but they go well together. And I got them to knit a pattern in a book that I purchased at Hill Country Weavers. I got the Life in the Long Grass publication. This is the number 5 publication. And I have been wanting one of these. I've been coveting them online. I believe you can order them directly from Life in the Long Grass, but it's with shipping, it's a little expensive. But they had them at Hill Country Weavers, and of course they're there in my hand, and I'm not gonna say no to purchasing it. But this particular one has some really beautiful patterns in it, exciting patterns. I think I'll just show you a couple of the pictures. There's this really beautiful pullover. There is another beautiful pullover, and this beautiful pullover called Quilt Star, that it's like a tee. It's but with a collar. I don't know if you can see that collar. Here's another picture of it, but I think it's gorgeous and interesting, and it looks like it'll be exciting to knit. So I got enough of the DK twist to knit that pullover with these colors together. How beautiful is that going to be? I'm excited. So I got this publication, and I also got the number 3 that they had. It also has some really beautiful projects that you could do. The colors are beautiful. It's got, you know, pictures and scenery, and just some really nice articles to read. I'm pretty excited. I haven't sat down and read through all of it yet, but I will be soon. I want to take a day to just like quietly enjoy these. But that's what I got at Hill Country Weavers. It was enjoyable, big, lots to choose from, but overall an enjoyable experience. The second shop we went to was Gauge Knits. It's much smaller, but just as enjoyable. And I managed to find, it's really cute. It's on the north side of Austin. I think I talked to the owner, Erin, and I think she said they'd been open for 16 years, I believe. I could be wrong, but the number 16 was mentioned. But they've been around for a while. And they had some really nice selections. I wasn't as overwhelmed in their shop. The way they had everything organized was very, very easy for my logical mind to deal with. It was organized by weight, where in Hill Country Weavers it seemed to be just more by yarn brand. I kind of at first I stopped trying to make sense of how it was organized at Hill Country Weavers because I couldn't figure it out. At first I thought it was by like base type, like because I felt like a lot of the the plant fibers were together, like cotton and things like that, and linen and whatnot. I thought they were all together, but maybe it was. Maybe I was right, and I didn't think about it long enough. But I had just been driving for a few hours because we went straight there when we got to Austin on Saturday and didn't stop to rest or anything. But at Gauge Yarn, it's organized by weight. And then, like, you know, all the fingering yarns in one spot, all the worsted, all the lace, that kind of thing, which I find very helpful because I, if I'm looking for something specific, I want to be able to go to that weight. Like if I have a pattern in mind, I want to be able to go to where all the fingering weight is and make my decision with everything there in front of me. Like which brand do I want? Which colors do I want? You know, they're all there. I can make a really solid decision with everything in front of me. But at any rate, I made I bought a lot, but two kinds of yarn. I bought this Quince & Co. Finch. I got this really pretty dusty pink color, and it's kind of hard with the light and everything on this camera. You can't really tell exactly how pinky it is, but in this really pretty like wine color. This dusty pink's color name is Canvas. It's 221 yards fingering weight, 50 grams. Each skein is 50 grams. And it is, of course, Quince & Co. It's 100% American wool. And this one's color is Malbec. Malbec? Wine, of course. But they had some samples there. I've never knit with Quince & Co. I've always been interested in knitting with Quince & Co. just to see what it's like to knit with and if I like it or not. And so I bought enough for a cowl pattern. They had a sample knit up in another kind of yarn, but I think this will do just as well. And I bought enough to knit that cowl with. So I got those. And then I was just looking around. I didn't have anything else that I needed or had in mind to knit, but I saw this on a display and couldn't resist. It was so intriguing. It's called Sugarcane by Circulo. It is 153 yards, and it is 100% viscose from sugarcane, and it's very silky, and heavy. This is 100 grams, this right here. It's pretty heavy, but it's cool. Like the feel of it, and I'm holding it in my hands, and the feel of the fiber is like cool to the touch. I was talking with Erin, the owner, and she was saying that, like, especially here in Houston and Texas, where it gets very, very warm, very hot, that this is something that you could knit up into like a tee. And it would be a pretty cool wear, as opposed to wearing wool in the middle of Houston summer, right? Which is the sad thing about being a knitter in Houston is the heat. We have maybe a couple of months in winter to get good wear out of our heavier knit wool items, and then the rest of the year is just like, it's April, and yesterday was summer. Like I could feel summer coming. It was very humid and very hot, like warm and sticky, which is the worst. I love spring. March is my favorite spring month. March in Houston is gorgeous, and I'm sad that has come to an end, but I'm excited to knit this. She also, pardon me, she had this little, I guess Circulo put out this little pattern. It's a little wrinkly, I'm sorry, but she put out this pattern. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's a knitted tee to use this to knit up. And so I'm going to try it out and see how it goes, and if I enjoy knitting with it or not. Like I said, I like trying new yarns, new fibers, and knitting with them, and it's about to be pretty warm, and so having this might be enjoyable for the summer, I think. While at those were the only 2 yarns I purchased while at Gauge Yarn, but I did get this publication of Pom Pom Mag. It's the publication with Candace English of the Farmer's Daughter fibers. I love Farmer's Daughter fibers. I've knit with them a bunch, and I think it's wonderful and beautiful. The colors are great, but it's just the usual pom-pom. They've got patterns and some articles and everything. One that I'm most excited about to do, and this is a crochet item. I crochet as well. Not as much as I knit, but I do like to crochet. And they had this really cute bag in this book for Pom Pom. This is the autumn 2023 one, and I feel like that bag. I love knitting bags and little easy, like quick, or crocheting bags, as this one will be, quick items that you can finish really quickly and feel accomplished, even though you're drowning in big whips. Having a small finished item can kind of like cleanse the palate a little bit, I think. And so I think this bag would be a great stash buster, among other things. So I'm a little excited. I'm gonna knit that up, or crochet it up, I should say. Sorry guys. Crochet it up, and I'll show it on one of my next episodes once I finish. But that was it. Those were all my purchases. I did buy this. This is the last one. It's the Knitting Notes journal. I think it's by Lina Publishing. Lina? I don't know. I should learn how to pronounce things right. But it's really cute. It's pink. I love pink. I have a lot of pink items. My shirt's pink. But this is just a really cute, let me get to a better place. Where you can record whips, your notes about them. It's got a little page for other notes. And then it's got 2 blank pages after your notes, your project page, and it just has a bunch of spots to put the projects. And then at the end, which is also pretty nifty, it has a place where you can record your yarn purchases, which is what I need, because I purchase yarn intending to use it someday. But sometimes, and I can be honest about this, it's just to buy it, and it goes into, I don't even take it out of the bag that I carry it out of the shop in. It stays in the bag, and that bag gets put away, and then I don't see that yarn again for months. And then I stumble upon it, and there it is, yarn that I didn't even remember I had. But if I put it in here and record it and look at this, I'll remember. I'll keep it in my brain, and I'll say, oh, I do have this yarn. That's another thing. Ravelry. I don't use Ravelry the way it's meant to be used. I could be entering new yarn in my stash on Ravelry and have it there at my fingertips when I'm looking at patterns. Do I have yarn to do this pattern? Yeah, I do. I put it in. I bought it 2 weeks ago. So I think that would be helpful. It's something that I should look into doing consistently. But this was too cute to pass up, so I bought it. Let's move on, because look, 54 minutes. I'm at 54 minutes, and I could keep talking for forever. This is going well. Either well or not so well because I'm talking too much and not moving things along. You guys let me know. Do you like hearing me ramble about everything for a little while, or should I try and be more concise and keep things moving along faster? Those were all my purchases. My FOs, only got 2 of them. Like I said, I'm not a big finisher, but these were cute and exciting. I have a friend named Jane, and she is brilliant. I love Jane very much. She is a knitter and a crocheter and a gardener, and she does many things. She bakes. She's wonderful, a lovely person. And she also drinks tea. Whenever we have knitting group, we go over there and she serves tea and baked goods, and we enjoy it. But she has started a little company called Oxford Knit, and she has started designing different patterns. But her first pattern is this really super cute tea cozy. This is my big tea kettle that I use if I plan on drinking more than just a cup. I got this off Amazon. I'll link it in the show notes below. This tea kettle. It's a nice size. It's not too big, but not too small, but it's metal. And Jane had the same issue. She had a similar pot like this. I actually bought this one because it most closely resembled the one she has. But it's metal, and so it gets hot. And when you're, the handle doesn't get too hot, but like when you're pouring and the lid gets hot. And so she designed for herself, just out of necessity, she knit herself a tea cozy. And it's the cutest thing. We all saw it. It was the cutest thing ever. And she was like, you know what? I should publish this pattern. And so she's been working very hard on publishing, we tested. This was my I test knit for this size. It's a little, if you can see, it's a little short from the bottom, but I think that's perfect because when you set it down, you can't really see the rest of it. And I'm not going to be touching the bottom here. And this way, when you set it down, it's set flat instead of like having some knit yarn on the bottom that is causing it to be rocking back and forth or uneven or unsteady. But so I tested this one. I test knit this one, and there were 2 other sizes that other members of our little knitting group test knit for her. And she is getting ready to, or has already published. I'm going to put the link below, her knitting pattern. And I'm going to link her Instagram in the show notes so that you guys can visit her Instagram and see what she's all about and her endeavors as a new pattern designer. I'm really excited to see what she does with all of this because she is so creative, and the way she thinks about knitting and designing is pretty special, and I admire it. I wish I had the same thought process she does around designing. Same with the Crayabea, Rebecca. The way she talks about and thinks about design and knitting inspires me. I don't know that I would ever get to that point where I'm designing things myself. But it makes you think about it. It makes you wonder, like, could I do that? Same with the knitting podcasts. I see knitting podcasts all the time, right? And I wonder, it makes you think, like, could I do that? Could I sit for an hour and talk about things that I feel passionate about like this? So at any rate, Jane is amazing. Oxford Knit, I'll link it below, but that's one of my finished items. I used this is DK weight. I used a skein of, this was another one of those instances where there was just one skein. Didn't know what I was going to use it for, but it was gorgeous and I loved it. in skein form, and I purchased it. It was Ching Fiber, DK, and I think the colorway was called Party Popper. Could be wrong. It's been a very long time since I purchased it, and it's just been sitting in my stash waiting for the perfect opportunity to be used. And I found that in Jane's Tea Cozy. But I had some left, so I also knit this really cute scrunchie. Woolen Pine Designs has a pattern that you can purchase. It's a set of hair accessories. It's called the Cottage hair accessories. And the scrunchie, that you could do it in DK or in fingering. I did it in DK because I had some of this left. It was the best quick little knit that you will ever do. I did it in an evening in front of the TV, just relaxing. And once I finished the Tea Cozy and this is how much I had left of the skein. Oh, hey, guys. It is Ching Fiber. It is their classic DK, 75% Southwest Merino and 25%, I say Southwest because it says SW. I assume that's Southwest, right guys? Southwest or SW Merino. Maybe I'll just say SW from now on. But also 25% nylon, 100 grams, 205 yards. And the colorway is Party Popper. I got this at my local yarn shop. And it was beautiful and I had to have it, so I got it. But this is all I have left of the skein. After the Tea Cozy and the scrunchie. And I don't know what I'll do with it. Maybe I'll just keep it around for a scrappy project. But I really enjoyed knitting with this. It was lovely and plump. And I think that's what I love, a good plump, smooth DK to knit with. It's soft and beautiful and wonderful. I love Ching Fiber. So those are my finished objects. Nothing else to show in that area, but I will move on to my whips. Like I said, I have a bazillion whips. I am not going to show you every whip I have going on the needles right now because some of them have been just languishing. I started them many months ago, some years ago, and they've just been wasting away. I thought maybe I haven't been drinking either. I've been talking so much. I thought maybe I would go through and do an inventory of my whips and kind of see, because recently I lost a lot of weight. And so now whips that I started a long time ago won't fit me when I finish. So there's almost no reason to finish if it's not going to fit and I'm not going to be happy with the end product. So I've been thinking about going through them, frogging the ones that I know won't fit me and like putting that yarn back into stash for another use later. But that's for another time and another episode. For now, I'll just go over, I think I've got 4 whips that I'm currently working on actively. The first one is my second Tolsta tee. I love the Tolsta tee. Like I said, I love Rebecca's patterns. It's by Crayabea Knits. This pattern it's DK. First of all, love a good DK pattern. And it's so wonderful, and I don't know if saying simple is complimentary seeming. I mean it as a compliment. It's simple. It's a great, enjoyable knit. It knits up pretty quick. It's versatile. You can do a lot with it. And the finished project is just so flattering and fits so well. It's not hard to get a good fit with this. This is my second. Like I said, the first one around I did the short sleeves, like the pattern, just exactly as they were in the pattern. This time around, I'm doing long sleeves. I improvised these long sleeves and they turn out pretty good. There's no ease to them. They're just perfectly fit my arm all the way down. And I don't know how I feel about that yet. I've tried it on a few times and I think I like it, but I won't know until I have it completely finished. But I can always, if I don't like it, I can always take them off and rip back and then just do something different. But I'm on that. I separated for sleeves here to knit the body in the round, and then decided so that later I won't get on Sleeve Island that I'd just go ahead and do the sleeves. So I've done this one I've completed it, and now I'm going to try and recreate it on the other side. I didn't take notes, which is what I should be doing. I didn't take notes on, I kind of remember how I did the decreases and like how often I decreased and how many rows I did to get to here. But I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to have to do a lot of like counting and figuring it out again. And then once I do the other sleeve, I'll knit the body and be done. But that's whip number 1. I am knitting it in Les Garçons British DK, and the colorway is Jonathan's Soft Day. I love this yarn. This was the first time I knit with it, and it feels a little rustic, but I think that once it's washed and blocked and worn a little bit, it's not too rough against the skin. It's not prickly. But it has a really nice look to it when it's knit up, and I'm eager to see what it's like after washing and blocking. But it's 75% BFL wool and 25%. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really see if that's an M or a W. Masham wool. It's non-superwash. 268 yards per 100 grams. Skein is 100 grams. And look how cute the label is. I think it's super cute. The second whip I'm also doing in the British DK, just in a different colorway. This one's called Eli's Childhood Home. It's also British DK, Les Garçons, and it's beautiful. But I am doing another of Rebecca's patterns. I'm doing the Stick Season pullover, and I've really enjoyed this knit for so long. I've been knitting it a little while, several weeks, a little more than a month now, I want to say, because I got to where I was just knitting in the round, and got distracted by other cast-ons, which I'm about to show you. I will finish this though. I need to stop carrying around my other whips with me wherever I go and start carrying this around and like just make an effort to just get it done. I mean, it's gonna be too warm soon to wear it anyways, so it doesn't have to be done anytime soon. But like I said, trying to be more consistent about finishing things and having something to show for my efforts and the investment I've made on the yarn, right? But my favorite thing about this was the stitch pattern. It was just really lovely repeat that was entertaining but not so complicated that I raced through the yoke kind of part, the stitch pattern up here. I got through it so fast, and I love this little detail that's on the shoulder, the back of the shoulder, and runs down the side here and continues, I know you can't see that, it continues down the side of under the arm. I love that. I raced through this textured part to here, and I've struggled through just the knitting round and round and round and round. But I just have a couple more inches to go before I start the ribbing. So I'm not that far away, and then the sleeves will be easy peasy. Those will whip up real fast, and then the collar part. So hopefully soon you'll see a finished object in that. The next thing that I've been working on, I've been working on this is another instance where I was influenced by Instagram, and I started the Copper Wing Shawl by Wool and Pine Design. I don't know if you can see it very well. The light, oh, there we go. That's really pretty. You can see the details that way. I think this is gorgeous. The pattern for this shawl, the way it's knit, the charts for this main portion here were easy. It was an 8 row repeat, and then this chart right here is also an 8 row repeat, so pretty easy to memorize. This first chart section was 20 repeats of the chart, the first chart, and then this middle portion is going to be I think 5 repeats of the chart, and I'm on the second repeat, but I'm enjoying it. I have never ever in my life completed a shawl. I've started plenty. I have one complete shawl, the Bennett Sisters shawl. I got halfway through it and couldn't knit another row on that shawl if you'd paid me to. I don't know where the blockage was in my brain. I just couldn't do it. So my friend Melissa took it home and finished it for me. So teamwork for the win. I do own a finished shawl that I knit part of, but I've never completed 100% of a shawl. But I feel like this will be the first. I feel like I'm good there. It's going, right? It's looking beautiful. I love the colors. I love the pattern. I love the process, the way it's knitting. It's squishy and fun to touch. The yarn I'm using, this pink color is 316 Dye Studios in As You Wish. I bought this yarn at their booth at the Dallas-Fort Worth, the DFW Fiber Festival a couple years ago. Not this past one, but the one before. Oops. And it's gorgeous. It's look at how it just, the depth of the colors, light and dark, some speckles. I really like it. And then this lighter, this blue color is Ritual Dyes. It's a 2-ply. The 316 fingering is a 4-ply superwash, and the Ritual Dyes is a 2-ply twist, which I love. I love a good 2-ply twist. I think it's just really attractive in a fingering and the way it knits up. But this is their maiden base. It's 90% merino and 10% nylon. It's 400 yards for 100 grams, and the colorway is Pisces. I got this at my local shop, the Modern Skein, and it's gorgeous, and I love knitting with it, and I think I'm going to add this to my list of favorite yarns to knit with, for sure. The 316 is also very lovely to knit with. It's been a dream. It's soft, it's squishy, I think it's perfect for a shawl. But there's just something about this yarn, that the Ritual Dyes, the 2-ply maiden base, that I'm just slightly obsessed with. I love it. But so I'm working on that. And my final WIP, I've been most monogamous about this shawl. I started it when we were in Austin a couple weekends ago, and just I haven't, although I've been doing a couple of other things here and there, this is what I've been working on the most because I've been enjoying it the most. The last one is this Mota that I bought from the Modern Skein. That's the worsted that I talked about earlier on. I am using it to knit up my Felix cardie. You can't tell what it is very well yet, but I have gotten pretty far along. You can see here where I've knit the raglan with the beautiful detail here. I've separated this for the sleeves, and I'm working on the body. I have about 2.5, 2.25 more inches to go on the body before I do the hem, the ribbing for the hem. Then I'm gonna go back and do the sleeves, and then the button band and the collar. And this is knit up really, really fast, and it's wonderful. Like I said earlier, it's kind of rusticy feeling, and so that's translating into the fabric of the cardigan. But I have a feeling that with washing and blocking and wear, it's going to soften up beautifully. I will let you know how that goes once I finish and get it washed and blocked, and I'll do a little fashion show with it. I love cardigans. I love knitting cardigans, and I think it's fun and enjoyable, and they're nice to wear, especially here in Houston when, like, in the office at work, it's very cold sometimes, and I like, even it could be 90 degrees outside but freezing sitting at my desk. And so having a cardigan just to wear around the office, but then take off easily if I'm leaving the office is pretty handy. So most of the time you'll see me knitting cardigans or something simple and lightweight to wear at the office. But I really have enjoyed this pattern so far. I love the detail on the raglan, the lace detail. You can see it. It was a pretty easy repeat, knit up really fast, and I think it's just gonna be a really pretty simple. I love the color also. Like, I'm really excited seeing it here. I think it'll be great. But again, gotta finish it. I will finish it. It'll be done soon. And I'll enjoy wearing it to the office. I'll take some pictures and show you it later. But those are all my WIPs that I've been working on. Not all, like I said, but the ones I'm actively working on and hope to finish soon. But that's what I have for you for that. I was going to talk a little bit about some planned knitting adventures. We're getting into an hour, 20 minutes soon. I hope that's not too long. We'll shorten it up next time. You guys let me know. Do you want to watch an hour and a half knitting podcast, or should I keep it around 45 to an hour? Because I could talk forever. Planned knitting adventures. In May, Josh and my son and I are going to Maine at the end of May, beginning of June, to see his family. But that first weekend we're going to be there is the Maine Fiber Frolic. So we're planning on attending that. That'll be exciting. Booths with yarn from around Maine and lots of animals there and food, and I thought maybe I'd do a little video of the things that I find there and share it with you guys. And then also in August, I'm planning to go to Flock. It's something that I've been wanting to do, and I've always wanted to visit Washington and in the Pacific Northwest. So Josh and I are going to make that one of our trips for the quarter. Go up for a few days and hang out and visit the Fiber Festival. And hopefully that'll be an exciting adventure. I guess that's it for now. I'll end it here. Let me know what you think. Pointers, suggestions, requests, that kind of thing. I've enjoyed it. It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I did look off to the side quite a lot. I will work on that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this time. And I hope to see you guys again. My plan is to do a podcast. I've thought about doing one every week. Maybe if I do one every week, I won't have as long of episodes. Maybe. If not every week, then definitely every 2 weeks, but we'll see how it goes, and we'll go on this journey together. Thanks again, guys. I hope you have the most amazing week, and until next time. Bye.